So you were an estate agent?
Yes.
Selling deals?
Yes.
But you didn't know that you could do it this way before you came to Progressive?
All I knew is you had to get 25%, put it down, and then you actually had a buy to let. It takes you a long time to actually get that 25%.
So hang on, so if I did that with one property per month, I'd make £4,000 per month from selling one deal that I never had to buy.
That is correct. As an estate agent, think, well, you know all about property. We don't know about property. We know how to sell a property. These are some of the deals that I've actually now done in 5 years that I'd never done any of them in 25 or 30 years.
Welcome back to Progressive Property, and today we're going to be speaking to an estate agent of 25 years who'd been around property his entire life, who proclaims that he realises now that he knew nothing about property until he came to Progressive. Let's hear his story. So, Vito, great to have you here in the studio.
Thank you.
So I want you to tell us a little bit about your life way back in the ancient histories of time before you even got into property. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
You want to know when God was a lad? What happened then? I was back in the mid to late 80s. I was an estate agent for my sins after I grew up and decided I needed to get a proper job because I wanted to be an estate agent. I saw them with their fast cars, sharp suits and everything else. I thought I'll have some of that. So I became an estate agent and had my, probably was in it about 25, 30 years. And I would say 17 of 18 years, I had my own 3 branches in Hertfordshire, had about 18 staff. And that's really me before I became a property investor. Obviously, we had all the highs and lows, ups and downs and everything else that go with it, but it was certainly an experience.
But this is really interesting because you said that you were an estate agent and you were an estate agent for a long time. You had all these staff, but that you weren't an investor. Is it common for estate agents not to be investors?
No, not at all, because I think what it is with an estate agent, we are there to get houses on the market. We're there to find buyers for our vendors, sell them and get our commission. It isn't really our primary goal to be a property investor. So, yeah, we only knew one way, and that was to get them on the market and get them sold.
That's so interesting because I speak to lots of people who arrive at Progressive, for example, like and it's their first time, and they just think that estate agents like know everything about property and are doing property themselves.
How wrong is that? Because, like I said, I was in agency 25, 30 years, but I've only really learned how to do property investing properly in the last 5 years when I joined Progressive. I did buy some of my own properties when I had my own agency, but I probably bought 3 times as many in 5 years than I probably did in the last 25, 30 years.
Whoa. So you bought 3 times as many properties in the last 5 years than in the last 25 or 30 years?
That's correct.
Since coming here?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, we're going to delve into that a bit more in a minute. But before we do that, was it always in your mind to do property? Like, so you said you became an agent, but what were you doing before you became an agent? Was that kind of your pathway always, or did you have something else in mind?
No, like I said, I think I saw some of my friends became agents. Prior to that, I was just doing some sort of clerical jobs. And I thought, yeah, I fancy some of that. It looked fun. And, you know, you can earn a lot of money. And in those days when you were young, all you wanted to do is just have some fun and earn money and, you know, go out to ladies at the weekend. And that was it. So that's why I thought, yeah, let's give it a go.
And did all of that happen?
Sometimes. Not all the times. I think initially it was all good, not a care in the world. When I had my own agency, then like I said, we saw the highs and the lows as well.
So, okay, so tell us a bit about those highs and the lows.
Well, the highs, we were earning a fortune. We were selling probably 40, 50 houses a month. And then we had something called a credit crunch.
The dreaded credit crunch. Ooh.
Credit crunch in 2008, 2009. So from probably turning over 100k per month, we then started turning over 20, 25k per month.
That is a massive hit, man.
It was huge. It was absolutely huge. And yeah, it was troubled times. We got through it in the end, but it was difficult times. So we were making really, really good return, really good money from, you know, to actually losing money, and a lot of money. Probably lost about $500,000, I would say, in that time.
£500,000?
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
So, man, you were here, and then you were here.
Yeah.
How did you feel? Like, what must that have felt like?
Awful. Absolutely awful. You know, I had good support from the family and people saying, don't worry, it's going to get better. I'll be really honest with you, from what I've learned now, I needed more than that. So I think you need more than just an arm around the shoulder when things go bad. You actually need some guidance and someone to say, this is what you should be doing to get you out of this mess and actually do a bit of damage limitation, to be honest with you.
And did you feel stuck for a while in a rut?
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. It was really survival mode then. So like I said, what happened is, we had 18 staff, sadly we had to let go of staff. Probably didn't let them go as quickly as I should have done because everyone thought that it was only a temporary blip in the credit crunch, but it didn't. It went on. It was quite deep. It was a good year, 18 months of really hard times. Got rid of the staff, but obviously by then the damage was done and probably lost about £500,000. Like I said, it was tough times, but like I said, you have a bit of support from family and some good friends around you. You're resilient. And like I said, I did actually make good money, the previous year. So what happened, we just paid that money back in, which it shouldn't have been that way. And if I'd have known a different way, I'd have certainly have done it differently now.
And how long did it take you before you kind of got out of the rut, as it were, and kind of started turning it around?
From the credit crunch, I would probably say 3 to 4 years before I started seeing light at the end of the tunnel. We steadied the ship. We started moving forward. Thought, let's just go again. That's exactly what I did.
I made my money in property. But when I started in property, I didn't know there were so many different ways to do property. Over time, I learned the no money down strategies that would go on to make me worth millions. There's a link around this video that you can click on right now, and me and the team will help you on your property investing journey. Do you know what? That's so inspiring. It's that kind of perseverance. It's the understanding that there are highs and lows in business, right? Yep. And it's like, if you can weather the lows, then you can get to even bigger highs later, right? If you just keep going, there's always time to quit. So quit later.
Yeah.
And therefore you never quit, right? Because there's always time to quit.
Absolutely. And I'm glad I didn't, because obviously we went on, we became profitable again, and we actually had a value in the business. We sold it in 2018. And, it looked after us.
Wow. Well, congratulations. Turning that, from a positive to a real negative, but then turning it around into a positive, that's really awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that story. And hopefully there are lots of viewers who are watching, who can take some solace in that, because people are going through some tough times right now.
Absolutely.
And, we've got, at the time of recording, we've got Rachel Reeves' next budget is coming up, and there's all sorts of uncertainty in the market and what's going to happen there. Given what you've been through in like one of the worst financial crises in history, do you have any advice for people who are out there right now, who might be feeling a little bit uneasy?
100%. Like I said, I think if I had people who didn't just give me a little, arm around the shoulder when things were tough, but instead of actually, if I could have had some good mentors who were saying, listen, this is what we need to do, and let's act quickly to get you through it quicker as well, it would have been a much better picture. So my advice would be is, although it's great having that family support, having your friends support you, always also try and get support from somebody perhaps has been there as well and actually can help you and guide you through it. So I'm a big one for mentorship now, which is something I never ever had in my 25, 30 years of estate agency, but I felt I never needed it. But it's only until, sorry to say, but the shit hit the fan.
Yep.
And I now realise there is a different way, because I now have been mentored for the last 5 years, thinking if only I knew then what I know now, it would have been a completely different picture, and I wouldn't have lost as much as $500,000.
The helping hand around the shoulder, the loving gesture has its place, right?
100%.
But people can only help you insofar as they understand your circumstances and understand how to help you in the first place. Yep. So if you're in a really big financial rut because your business has gone down because of, a credit crunch, and your loved ones want to support you, but they don't know anything about money and business and how you're meant to get out of that rut, then absolutely you want to be speaking to people, right, who can help you steer that ship and give you more than just the moral support, but give you that financial and business support as well.
100%. I would say that I wish I had that support back in 2008, 2009, and actually have somebody who's been there and also knew a lot more than what I knew as well, that could have actually guided me. So yeah, that's the one bit of advice I would say, is always try and get that support from someone who's been there and also who's actually ahead of you as well. It's only that way you're actually going to get better yourself.
Someone said the phrase, and I totally agree with it, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Okay, well, let's fast forward to now.
Yes.
So you found progressive and all of that, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But where are you now? So you've been through all these highs and lows. What's your business looking like currently?
Very good. Full-time property investor, mentor as well now, which is fantastic. It's lovely to be able to help somebody else as well, just the same way I've been helped along the way. I had my own essay company, which we then sold. I now find deals for myself and my investors. I JV with people as well, and as well as obviously sell properties. I've still got a JV with an estate agency where we actually help sell properties as well for properties that perhaps don't fit the criteria for a property investor. So I'm still very much in property, but enjoying it. I think that's the big thing now. Because when I sold my agency in 2018, I probably got to the point I needed a change. I had the staff, I had the offices and all the big bills, etc. that came with it. But now I'm doing something that I really enjoy because I have found a different way.
Which is amazing because you had all of that stuff, but at the end of the day, it was still a job, right?
Yes.
It was still something that you had to go to and slog at, and you had no real choice. But now, as a full-time property investor, with multiple streams of income coming from different places, you have that freedom to choose what you want to do, when you want to do it.
Absolutely love it. And not only that, I think I've learnt all the different strategies, which I didn't think existed. As an estate agent, you think, well, you know all about property. We don't know about property. We know how to sell a property, but to actually learn about things like vendor finance, lease options, exchange later completion, these are some of the deals that I've actually now done in 5 years that I'd never done any of them in 25 or 30 years.
Because you didn't know how.
I didn't know how.
And so let's backtrack a little bit then. So how did you find progressive?
Always been interested in properties, and I think I saw an email. Funny enough, one of those emails that we get every now and then.
I don't know. Did anybody out there get progressive emails? I've never heard of that.
But it was a good email, and it was an email that I personally think changed my life. It was for a Masopi event.
That's the multiple streams of property income.
And it was in London, because I live about an hour away from London. I thought, you know what, let's go to the Big Smoke for a few days and see what's going on. And loved it. I signed up for absolutely everything. Every speaker that was on stage was fantastic, all the different strategies. And I said, I'd like to know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, and because you would have had speakers. What year was it, you might be asking?
2020.
2020. Oh, that's an interesting year, isn't it?
It certainly was.
Come to that in a minute.
Yes.
But 2020, because of course you would have heard people talking about deal packaging and HMOs and serviced accommodation and no money down property investing and commercial conversions. And so you heard all these different speakers talking and you just thought, wow, I want to lap all of that up.
I want some of that.
So you got mentorship from all of them.
I did. And then I decided to start off a serviced accommodation mastermind, which was absolutely fantastic. Love that. Set up an SA management company with my daughter. We did that for 4 years.
Oh, with your daughter? That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, which was really nice. Had its challenges, mine. We butted heads every now and then, but that's because...
What, father and daughter butting heads?
Never. And then I got into deal packaging as well, because there was plenty of deals that were coming my way. And I thought, well, I'm losing these deals, so I decided to do deal packaging as well. Did their mastermind as well, and then I became a mentor as well. And that is what primarily I now do. I find deals for myself, my investors, my JV partners. So
let me get this straight. You started off as an estate agent.
Yeah.
You didn't know how to do property deals as such. You had to sell properties, but you didn't know how to do creative strategies or any of these other strategies. You came to Progressive, learned all these different strategies. Then you built a serviced accommodation business with your daughter, decided to go into deal packaging.
That's correct.
And are now a mentor on deal packaging.
Yes.
Do you know what? It's an amazing, you've come full circle, haven't you? From a student now to mentoring other people. What a journey. And for anybody out there who's wondering, what is deal packaging? Deal packaging is finding deals for your investors and your JV partners and yourself, which actually, give a great return on your money. And the sort of people that we work for, investors, are the people that typically who are cash rich but time poor. So we then go out and find the deals. We actually see it right through for them. If they want to, we put, fully packaged, i.e. we find it, we refurbish it for them, we rent it out for them. So they have a much, much better return on that property than they would actually have on their money in the bank. And that's fantastic. But how do you make money from that? We get a fee. You get a fee for finding the deal? We get a fee for finding the deal, and also then
If they want us to refurbish it, etc., then we get a fee for that as well.
I know it's going to be different and depends on the circumstances, but what sort of fees could people command for deal packaging?
Between £4,000 up to £20,000, depending on the deal. Because with regards to deal packager, it's the value you bring to your investor. It's not about just saying this is what a deal's worth. To that investor, if it's actually a huge return, then obviously you can actually get a better return for yourself. So the more value you can bring, the higher the fee's going to be.
From 4K up, you say?
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. So hang on. So let me get this straight. If I wanted to say go into property, I wanted to replace the income from my job. If I find a property deal for an investor, I sell them the fact that I found the deal. So I don't actually own the house. I just make an agreement with the owner of the house, and then I can pass that deal on to an investor, and the investor will pay me £4,000 for me to do that.
Yes.
So hang on. So if I did that with one property per month, I'd make £4,000 per month from selling one deal that I never had to buy.
That is correct. You could replace your income. Most people's incomes would be replaced by doing one deal per month.
That's it's so interesting, and there will be so many people out there. This is just one example of how you can make a lot of money from property without having lots of money to go into it with, because you don't need money to do that deal, right?
Don't.
You just need the time and the knowledge.
That's what you need.
And time, knowledge, and dedication to go and find that deal, find the investor, and then just link them together.
One of my mentees last month found 3 deals a month.
3 deals a month.
So if you actually do your sums then, at 4K per deal, that's 12K.
12K a month.
And I wasn't that good at maths at school either.
No, well, that's amazing. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. So you were an estate agent,
Yes.
selling deals,
Yes.
but you didn't know that you could do it this way before you came to Progressive.
All I knew is you had to get 25%, put it down, and then you actually had a buy to let. But it takes you a long time to actually get that 25%.
Whereas this way, as a deal packager, for example, you can start making lots of money from property really quickly.
100%, yes. I would recommend it to anybody. I always say with all property strategies are fantastic, but everybody should learn how to do deal packaging, because if they want it for themselves, fantastic. But if they don't, at least actually give it to another investor who might fit into their strategy.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So if I'm looking for my own property deal that I want to add to my portfolio,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work for me,
Yeah.
it might work for you.
100%.
And I could sell it to you for a 4K fee.
Yep.
Do you know what? That's so awesome. And you didn't know anything about that before you came to Progressive. Who was it? Were there any particular people in Progressive, who really helped you?
Kevin McDonald's the one I actually aligned to the most.
Kevin McDonald.
The crazy Irishman.
You may or may not know Kevin McDonald, but if you ever meet him, you'll know him pretty quickly because he is rather energetic.
He certainly is, but his brain and his support is second to none. Absolutely amazing. I still actually get mentored by him now, even 5 years on. I think that's really important as well, because I think with property and property investing, you don't know it all the time. You're always learning. And to actually have him there on my shoulder as a mentor is absolutely fantastic. It's invaluable, really.
Yeah, and so you're continuing to grow. So even though you've built this business,
Yes.
you're continuing to build it bigger.
Yes.
Where does it end? What are you aiming for?
There is no end. There is no end. I enjoy what I do. People say, will you ever retire? My viewing on retirement is doing something that you want to do, not what you have to do. And certainly I do not want to be sitting in front of a TV watching daytime television for the rest of my life. I actually want to go out there, and do more deals for my investors, my JV partners, for myself, because I enjoy it. Some people prefer golf, like golf. I actually like doing property investing. So it's not a job. I think that's the key. You enjoy it. And, we spend quite a bit of time in Italy. You can do deal packaging from absolutely anywhere.
So you could be sitting on your laptop in Italy finding deals?
I've done deals like that before. I've actually purchased properties like that before. Definitely, yeah.
What, from a laptop in Italy?
From a laptop in Italy, yeah. I come across a deal and a deal has been done. Yeah, so I would say, going back to, where do I want to go? It's just not going to stop. I actually enjoy what I do, so why stop what you're enjoying?
You can't retire from what you enjoy doing. You retire from a job, right? But why would you stop if you love it?
No. We've got a long time to rest in the other world, so we'll carry on as we are now.
Love it. I love it. Well, do you know what? There are going to be people out there. They're wondering whether property is right for them. They're not sure. What would you say to those people who are kind of maybe thinking, fed up with their job, they're looking for a way out? What advice would you give those?
I would just say, go for it. It's as simple as that. If you're just thinking about it, is it right, isn't it right? Just take a leap of faith and go for it. Get trained properly, get mentored properly, and then just do it.
Awesome. Vito, it's been absolutely fantastic to have you in the studio today and for you to be sharing your story and inspiring us, because I don't know about you viewers, but I certainly listen to that and I feel re-inspired, even though I'm already part of Progressive. And so, Vito, thank you for coming in and sharing it with us.
Thank you for having me.
To have you.
Thank you very much.
From April 2027, inheritance tax rules are changing, which will have serious consequences that could directly affect you. For the first time, pensions will no longer be exempt from inheritance tax, meaning even untouched funds could face a huge 40% charge. Families who don't act could see hundreds of thousands lost to the taxman. WealthBuilders, our Progressive-approved partner, has helped thousands of property investors build and protect their wealth. Now they're creating a step-by-step guide to show you exactly what these inheritance tax changes mean and how to prepare for them. Don't wait until 2027. Join the waitlist today by going to www.wealthbuilders.co.uk/IHT-progressive-podcast or clicking the link in the episode show notes and be the first to get your copy of the guide.